Hello, everybody, and welcome to February 2025. Well, okay, 2025, we see you and your wild and crazy agenda coming in fast, furious, and flipping everything on its head. January was nonstop, and we are certainly getting a feel for how this life-altering year will be unfolding. While we might not be accomplishing very much at this moment, we could be experiencing a great deal of shakeups, distinct reassessment for a different approach. Most definitely, we are quickly positioning ourselves to launch into the string of exciting transits and distinct shifts that lie before us in the coming months. So we kind of see what's coming at us, and we know that we have to readjust the way that we're coming at this year compared to how we may have just been approaching years in the past. Mars is still retrograde and will be retrograde for the vast majority of February. With Mars still retrograde throughout this month, we can expect a continuation of jostling and adjustment, both within ourselves and the world at large. How do I position myself to be most impactful? And I think that's really a lot of what this Mars retrograde is allowing us to do. That's a lot of its invitation at this time. Mars in Cancer invites us to take action from our emotional body and merge that with our physical body. So Mars is very physical, but being in Cancer creates this emotional approach and source for the physical. So merging those two, what is your emotional body communicating to you? That voice is very, very important while Mars continues its retrograde through Cancer. It will station, and we'll get to this later on February 23rd at 17 degrees Cancer. And then it will retrace its path back through Cancer, re-entering Leo on April 17th. So we've still got a ways to go with the Mars and Cancer energy. And we'll, like I said, touch back with that in just a little bit. Familial ties, community, cultural networks, home, homeland, the action of creation of all kinds are all being highlighted at this time. Protecting what we care for most can be a messy endeavor in general, more so than fighting for tactical means. But there is a tenacity and a deep meaning when we deploy our action towards defending that which we hold most dear. Stay true to your conviction. Remain emotionally embedded with your rage, and don't sacrifice your integrity as you stand your ground. So moving on, we have Venus North Node Neptune, and this occurs at the beginning of February, and it highlights the finer sides of Venus, Venus being in its exaltation in Pisces, as well as the North Node in Neptune, all being in Pisces as well. On February 1st, Venus conjoins Neptune at 27 degrees Pisces, 59 minutes, highlighting creativity, romance, and beautiful compassion. If your romantic relationship has been a tough spot, this combination could bring ease and relaxation into your connection. Venus-Neptune can allow for healing and acceptance. If you're a creative person, this is a great combination for submersing yourself into a creative space and getting lost there for a while. Or you may just want to collapse on the couch and binge watch romantic shows, fantasy films, or music documentaries. Later on February 1st, on that day, Venus will conjoin the North Node. And then on February 6th, Neptune conjoins the North Node at 28 degrees Pisces, 9 minutes. So this is all taking place boom, 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 right after one another. Venus and then Neptune aligning with the North Node illustrates a time when women could be highlighted. Women could be joining together for a common purpose, and they could be seen in a glamorous light. More personally, this further suggests that we could be escaping into what makes us feel good as a way of dealing with the immense changes that we are encountering. Delicious food and possibly too much of it, disappearing onto the couch as we binge watch, or overconsumption of spirits are possible around this time. If you do feel that you need to treat yourself, do so mindfully and with integrity. This is kind of the dark side of the sweetness of this combination. Um, this energetic could also allow you to create and pull in what makes you feel good, but make sure that it's sustainably good. Find ways to nurture yourself with simple daily routines that make you happy. And that's also pointing towards the nodal shift as well as happened between Virgo and Pisces. I suspect that each of us will feel these alignments and that they could be a part of a larger emerging story. Venus will be stationing retrograde on March 1st and will be retracing her way back across Neptune and the North Node later in March and early April. Take a look at where 24 degrees Pisces to 4 degrees Aries is situated in your chart. This area of your chart is in for a lot of activity in the coming months. The Leo full moon takes place on February 12th. And this exciting full moon is situated at 24 degrees Leo, 6 minutes. And it highlights Mercury conjunct the sun as well as a square to Uranus. Hence, the quickening that is the cornerstone for this year and also was for last year as well will likely continue and possibly heighten. We can expect new surprising and or exciting developments and news stories as well as in our own lives. If you've been feeling uninspired about how to proceed in an area of life, this could be a time when you receive enlightening information to catapult you forward, a new perspective. In addition, reckless information or communication is also possible, resulting in confusion and even mistakes. This is a foot and mouth combination where you say something and immediately want to retract it. So be careful of speaking too quickly. Take some time to digest what you want to say before just letting it splurt out all over the place and make a bigger mess than you ever would want. So returning back to Mars, Mars stations direct on February 23rd. Mars has been retrograde since December 6, 2024. It will station direct, as I said earlier, at 17 degrees Cancer. By this point, I hope that you have been able to take advantage of the reorientation that the Mars retrograde has offered. The playing board has been reset, and we are being asked to step into life with a drive that is aligned to our most intimate needs and desires. Yes, the process may have been and could continue to be uncomfortable at times, but the effort will be worth it in the end. As Mars stations, which is about 3 days on either side, expect to experience elevated amounts of frustration and even anger, either within yourself or in the world around you. Create time to move your body so that you can keep the energy moving in a productive way. It doesn't get stuck and come out in bursts that are unproductive. Do something proactive with all of the potential drive and motivation that is available. Mars stations while perfecting to a trine to Mercury, suggesting that information and communication in general could be highlighted. There could be a focus on evaluating the areas of our lives that have been disheveled as a result of Mars's retrograde journey. It is also notable that the moon in Capricorn will be in an applying opposition to Mars at this time as well, suggesting that the felt sense of Mars's recent actions will be a point of tension, both personally as well as globally. So I think we're really going to feel this Mars station. We could see this play out strongly on the world stage with heightened tensions, acts of aggression, and even violence. This could include some reckoning, but could also be a sign of further pushback. And finally, for this month, we have the Pisces new moon, which takes place on February 27th at 9 degrees Pisces, 40 minutes. This dreamy new moon is quite optimistic and supportive of helping us to find our way through whatever challenges we are currently faced with. At the moment of this new moon, there's a buildup of planets positioned in the sign of Pisces, including the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Saturn, the North Node, and Neptune. So there's quite a party going on. Pisces represents the karmic end of a cycle where we are immersed in life unfiltered, both the dreams and the nightmares. We find that there is no boundary and no difference between these dualistic ends or any dualistic end. Life exists on a beautiful, all inclusive continuum. Hence, individuals with heavy Pisces placements have an innate challenge around boundaries because they experience life as one big, unconditional soup, which can be both lovely as part of the dream and scary and overwhelming, which is part of the nightmare. They tend towards overwhelm and need to escape as a means of self-care. So, with so much Pisces energy at this time, we can expect to see the Venus, North Node, Neptune theme discussed above continue throughout the end of February. The Pisces new moon is forming a square to Jupiter and a trine to potent Mars. Hence, this can illustrate a time when spiritual exploration is heightened. Beautiful art could be released into the world at large or even created in your own living room. February denotes the month before the planetary shifts really get going. By and large, February urges us to explore the depths of what we can create in the name of kindness, compassion, beauty, and joy. We are being asked to surrender our ego nature and be of service to humankind, or at least to our creative spirit. The energies will change, and quickly. But first, we have this one moment to go inward and really feel out what our individual souls want and how we're meant to show up in this next chapter of humankind. Yes, there will be more chances to do this work, but the invitation is strong at this moment. And what do you have to lose? What is your vision for your own future? What is your vision for the world? What elements of these visions can you realistically implement into the world? How can you make small adjustments towards your vision? This can include simple things like kindness towards others and most importantly, towards yourself. Regular prayers or whatever equivalent that means to you. Moments of gratefulness, song and dance, creative offerings. They can be very small and very easily worked into our day-to-day life. And like I said before, and I think I mentioned this in the January newsletter, as well as the 2025 forecast that I did with Sarah, is these really small gestures are very important at this time, and they're part of our healing. They're part of our healing as we move forward. We don't want to move forward with the wounds. We don't want to carry those wounds with us forward. We want to be as healed as possible. While there's idealism in that as well, how can we realistically heal the parts of us one by one in a way that's meaningful, not overwhelming, and also doesn't spiritually bypass the moment that we're in? So, the dark side of Pisces, as well as Neptune, can be escapism, as I mentioned. And that's usually occurs when life becomes overwhelming. While this can be a wonderful way to regulate oneself, and I definitely encourage people to take time to escape in order to recenter, there is a distinct shadow side. So, see where you can stay with the discomfort, and maybe that means just staying with it for a moment than you would regularly. I'm not saying just stay and grit your way through it. I'm saying be curious and kind to the discomfort that you're trying to escape or needing to escape, and see what you can find out. Pisces is a place of curiosity, and the work within Pisces is to be curious and kind and compassionate, but also not to jump ship right away. Yes, the tool can also often be to jump ship eventually or to find your reclusive space. There's something definitely needed for that. But where's the balance? Where are you jumping ship too early? Where are you avoiding the work that is calling your name? Sometimes when it's approaching us as we're calling it in, we run away from it because there's work involved. So don't run away from the work and stay with the discomfort just a moment and be curious and see what you can learn. Because I think that, especially with this Pisces new moon, as well as the heavy Pisces influence throughout this month, there's a real gift inside of staying in the chaos, staying in the discomfort to find what that seed is. Why is it so uncomfortable, and what can you learn from that? So, anyways, a lot to say about the Pisces stuff this month. So, in closing, be mindful about how you're positioning yourself as we collectively embark upon the sweeping changes of 2025. Yes, much of the storyline is already in motion. And no, we will not bear witness to all of the changes this year. But where do you stand? And what is your role? How will you contribute to this pivotal moment in human history? Humans, take your places. The show is about to begin. Love you all. Bye.